Hello everyone. I thought I would do a video update on the journals and planners that I'm using. I ended up not finding, but like switching out whatever I had in this basket. I think I used to keep like bags with mala prayer beads and other cloth and strings here. So I took that out and this is where I'm storing my journals. I'm keeping them by my bedside table, not all of them like this, mostly these, which are the ones I write in at night, and I just put all of them here for show. So at the end of last year I was having like a crisis, not really a crisis, I was just feeling super tired and overwhelmed by everything, and wondering why I had bought so many journals and planners and spent like a ton of money on all of these things. Sorry, you might hear my kids screaming in the background. So I was having like second thoughts or just a little bit of regret, just thinking about why. Because sometimes, so when all the planners are coming out, I feel like I got not peer pressure, but lost in the acquiring of planners and just like wanting to get all the planners. And then I was so tired I couldn't even write in my regular journal, and I thought, oh my god, I'm not even going to use any of these calendars and notebooks, and I've just wasted a lot of money. All right, so as I was saying, I was just concerned about all the journals, and so I took a break at the end of December and then the beginning of January. I wasn't pushing myself super hard to journal or do anything, even get my planner started or set up. And then slowly I started getting more energy and started picking up my journals, and now I am using almost all of them. So this one is just my regular journal where I will write like longhand. Whenever I need to express or process something, this is where I will do it. And there's periods in my life when I feel like I need to do that a lot. Lately I haven't been using this journal like too much, so but it's still here for me whenever I need it. Then I used the WeMoon 2021 planner last year, and I was using it to keep track of my daily cards towards the end of the year, and I almost didn't buy this one for this year because I felt like it's not really something I need, but it is something I like. Then when I saw the cover and the theme for this year, I was like, okay, I need to get it for the poetry and the artwork, and because it was a dark moon version of the planner. And I'm really glad I got it. I haven't been writing my daily card in here, but I'm really happy to have access to the artwork and the poems that are included. So I'm using it more as a coming to like the page for the week and reading the poem and reflecting on that. So I really like all the artwork and the poem so far. Even if I'm not writing in it, at least not right now, I'm just getting inspiration from the poetry. And so I'm glad I have it for this year. And I'm just kind of displaying it here. Like, I really like this this artwork, so I'm keeping it nearby so I can see it often. And maybe I'll put it in my altar space and just flip to the page that shows the moon image. So that's the WeMoon. And since we're in the moon part of the video, I am still using the Moon is My Calendar, which is a journal that I love. And I used this is my 3rd year using it. So there were, like I said, there were a few days when I kind of fell off the wagon, just not having the energy to really check in with myself. But I started to notice that I was not doing so well. Like on the one hand, I was feeling tired, so I was prioritizing rest. But on the other hand, I started to see that maybe I was falling into like a little bit of a depression, because everything that I enjoyed was no longer giving me joy. So I started to just look into that a little more and see if I was really just tired, or maybe there was something deeper going on. And so this is my New Moon Mandala, which I just made not very long ago. And my theme for 2022 is simplicity. So this is one that I am continuing to use. So it has the mandala that you can create for every new moon. There's also the vision for the year part here. I did mine in Spanish. And then there's the seeds of intention. There's something called knowing your orbits. There's a page here about that. So one of the orbits that I am exploring is this orbit of patience versus growth. And I feel like sometimes especially last year, I feel like I was in a constant like growth or expectation of growth, but that's not really sustainable or healthy. So this last few months, when I have been just super tired and not really growing, but I've had to be patient and to just be okay with resting and not trying to do the most. That's something that I'm exploring here in this journal. And I also bought the Cycles journal. I used this one last year and I got it in June, so I only used half of it, and I liked it, so that's why I bought it. And it's a little different than my than the New Moon journal, because I am using it more for like body sensation tracking. I really wanted to use it for tracking my period and just other like bodily things. So you could do that in the New Moon journal, but I have been doing it in this one instead. And I like the different things that it helps you track. Then you just fill in the bubble for the day. And so like in the other one, there was this like chunk of time when I was just not doing it. So when I look back at this month and I see that there was this like gap, sometimes the gaps, they can tell us things too. It's not, oh sorry, I'm not in the frame. It's not something to hide or pretend that it didn't happen. So I try not to like go back and fill in. Sometimes I will do that. If I miss like 2 days, I'll go back and fill in those bubbles. But for this one, since it was such a long stretch of time, I decided not to. And so this year's book has 3 ribbons compared to 2 ribbons from the last one. The color is also brighter than last year's. This didn't change. I think this is different. It has really beautiful art here. It always has come with this rubber band. It has new essays and articles to help you. There's one that I have bookmarked here, Bata, the different elements of Ayurveda. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then it also has the daily check-in pages where I have been, I don't want to show you those because they're pretty personal, but there's the space for you to write about your physical state, your bodily fluids, how you're feeling, your emotional and mental state, sleep care and dreams. And this part, just checking in like with these different, these especially these two, has been really good. And so I'm tracking a few different things like my water intake. I'm having some like skin scalp problems, so I'm tracking that, trying different home remedies and oils and shampoos and stuff to see if there's any improvement. Let's see, something that's new in this year is the season, so you can circle what season you're in. I'm really hoping to get more out of the check-in and reflect pages than I did last year. So I'm hoping to just really use the page more. This page particularly is one that I didn't use much last time. So that is the Cycles journal. And before I used to check in with these journals in the mornings, but now my schedule has changed a little bit, so I'm checking in with them at night. And that's working out for me. So this video might end up being very choppy because my children are playing, and sometimes they scream, and I'll try to edit as much out as I can. So I've had this 1 line a day journal since last year in February, and then at the end of the year I was like, oh, maybe I should get one of those Hobonichi journals. And I debated on it. I waited like a few weeks before I took the plunge and bought one. So now I have 2, and this one I bought specifically to keep memories for like family memories. So I'm still doing that. I'm keeping memories for the girls and things we did together, maybe like funny things they did or experiences that we all had. And then the Hobonichi one I'm using as my own personal 5-year journal. So I write more things specific to me, like how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, things that I wouldn't mind if they read when I die, but I'm not like trying to share with them like I am in the other one. So I have to say that after getting all the Hobonichi journals, I at first I was like, oh, everybody is like hyping these products up, so I was really excited. And now that I have them, they are really cool, and like the thin paper is really nice, but I don't know that the hype is worth it. Please don't kill me, Hobonichi fans. I'm just thinking about for next year, I'm not going to buy Hobonichi planners. I'm just going to maybe buy the knockoff that I found out about, or maybe just a regular planner, and I'm going to save my money and not spend so much on planners. But I am glad that I have this one. And something else, this might be a sin in the Hobonichi community, but I'm not using fancy pens. My planners, I'm literally using like this big pen, and I'll use any pen that I can get my hands on, actually. So yeah, maybe I'm not getting like the full experience of the Hobonichi, but when I tried using fountain pens on my Hobonichi planners, I found that they were actually, maybe it's the fountain pen I have, but they don't dry as fast as this one, and they smear, and also when I close the page, it will like stain the other side of the page. So this one has been much better in all of the Hobonichi papers. So yes, I am happy I have it because I know I wanted to have one. I love this yellow box. I'm going to keep it in the box until 2026. And then will I buy another Hobonichi? Probably not. I know there's like 10-year journals out there, so I might try a 10-year journal. There's another brand that I saw when I was considering this one. I can't remember the name, but now I have these two 5-year journals that I'm keeping track of. And let's see, as far as journals, I mentioned this traveler's notebook. I was excited about it, but the reality has been that I have not used it much. And I had bought a blue one with this one, and I gave the blue one to my daughter, and she's been using it, so that's good. And I'm not giving up on it yet. I think that once my big journal where I write like the daily reflections and things that I want to process, when that one is done, I might start using this one. So I'm not giving up on it. I feel like I will come back to it someday, but I'm just not using it right now. It's just here. Then I still have this one where I was planning to write out some of like the content creation that I wanted to share like in my blog. But a few things have changed for me since the last video I made. For example, last year before December, when I was still full of energy and excitement for all the things I wanted to do in 2022, I wanted to like launch a Patreon and continue growing my Mighty Networks community. And right now all of those things are on hold. The Mighty Networks might come back in February because I still want to do some moon work with some of the people that are on that group with me, and have like new moon group calls, and talk about our intentions and what's happening in our lives. And I also do want to write more, at least like for my newsletter subscribers and maybe on my blog. But the Patreon is not gonna happen right now. I just don't have time for it, and there's no point. At least this was one of my realizations. There's no point in like pushing myself to do all these things, and I don't want to burn myself out trying to do all the things. So I still have this one because I will use it to write, but I'm just being more intentional and moving slower with all of those writing projects. And let's see. Okay. I showed these two, but I didn't talk about them. Excuse me. So let's see. I'll talk about this one first, because at first I was going to use this one as my daily to-do list, and that's actually what I have been using it for. But now I have started using it as a gratitude, like a gratitude journal. So in the morning I will write at least 2 or 3 things that I'm grateful for. Then I also write down like my to-do list, home related to-do list. In other parts I would write notes. I've been keeping track of the weather here. So that's what I've been using this one for. Maybe in the future I will be more creative and maybe like add some pictures or drawings or stickers, but for now it's pretty minimalistic. But I do enjoy just the tuning into like a vibe of gratitude in this journal. And so like I mentioned, I probably will not buy a Hobonichi planner next year, but I will continue to use my Inuyasha cover, and maybe I'll get one of the, I think it's called Kinbor is the other brand that has like a dupe of the Hobonichi. So that's what I'm planning to do for next year, but it's barely January and we don't know what's happening. So like I mentioned, I am using like these kinds of pens on the planners, and they work out fine, and I actually like the different colors. Okay, so that was that one. And this one is still kind of a work in progress. So I had bought this one to be my planner for my unearthing the gift activities. So here I was gonna write dates for like when my classes were launching, when different videos were going up, and podcasts and group calls, and all of that, all of those things that I wanted to do. But since a lot of that is on hold for me, I was worried about what I would even use this for, and I tried to pass it on to my husband. But he also doesn't really like keep track of a lot of things in paper. So now I'm trying to use it as a budget tracker, and it's not set up as a budget tracker right now, and I'm not gonna show you or tell you like how I did it because I'm still learning. But that's one of my goals for this one. I think I like this one better than the A6 size. I like this one because it has the monthly spread, but also seeing the weekly layout I think is more helpful for me than having just like a one-day glance at things. So I'm using this one kind of like a home organizer slash budget organizer. So I'll write in like appointment times, when bills are due, when paychecks are coming in, and any other income, and then when expenses are going out. So that's my goal for this one. I haven't done anything with the pages in the back. So this part is a little bit like a bullet journal, just some grid paper that I could use, and if I do anything with them, I will share an update video. But for now, these are all the journals that I am keeping, and it's still a lot of them, and I don't use, sometimes I take breaks from them, or I'll tune in to them like at different times of the day. So the 5-year ones and the moon ones, I'll do them at night. In the morning, I'll do this one. Whenever I remember, I check in on this one, and that's about it. So hopefully you enjoyed my sharing about the journals that I'm using. Let me know if you're using any of these, or if you have any suggestions for how to use them differently. I'm always open to suggestions. So thank you so much for tuning in.